مولانا بيفضل.
Joint Accelerator of Oromo Community Organization, Oromo Youth Self-Help, International Oromo Women Organization, Oromo Community America, North America. Dear Mr. Secretary, it has been 24 years since the Tigray People's Liberation Front minority communist regime has served power by gun in Ethiopia. To legitimize its control on Ethiopia and bullwhip the international community and donors, the regime has coupled together pseudo-constitution, federal and democratic state structure, parliament, political party, Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, and other democratic templates. The country has also been labeled as Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, where the structure, levels, and institutions are nothing but fakers to hide the true identity of TPLF regime. In reality, it is a communist regime which monopolizes all the resources of the nation, economic activities, trample human rights, political rights, freedom of speech, press, and assembly. Politically, there is no right of venting grievance, demonstrating, gathering, writing, or speaking against the excess of the government is criminalized. The regime designed anti-terrorism law just to fulfill any dissenting voice. Tens of thousands of activists, journalists, students, opposition groups have been locked up for decades. There is no separation of power among the executive, political party, legislative, judiciary, security, and the police. The TPLF is above its constitution, laws, rules, and regulations. The TPLF are restrained by any other institution or constitution. All decisions are controlled by TPLF leadership. Tigray appointees have to get approval to execute their functional responsibility. The communist system of control of party members is now replicated in civic life for all citizens. The 125SP network is applied to all Ethiopians to silence any grievance and any dissent voice. It is through this mechanism of control that the TPLF could stay in power by conducting 5 sham elections during the last 24 years and always declaring itself a winner. The Ethiopian economy is controlled by the Endowment Fund for the Rehabilitation of Tigray effort, a conglomerate of multiple companies engaged in agriculture, manufacturing, construction, trade, finance, and social sectors. Effort has monopolized the private sector of Ethiopian economy to the extent never seen anywhere in the African continent. The Ethiopian peoples have never seen in the history of the country this degree of state exploitation, operation, and suppression. But it is impossible to exploit a nation forever with this type of iron fist. The end may be unpleasant. Dear Mr. Secretary, the government exercise exploitation, subjection, mass arrest, torture, extrajudicial killing, disappearance are never on Oromia. Disappearance are severe on Oromia and the Oromo people. The regime is holding thousands of Oromo political prisoners in its notorious jails spread all over the country without due legal process. Nowadays, there are more detention centers than schools. The regime displaced millions of Oromo farmers from their land in the name of development land grab. The response for any Oromo grievance is beating, arrest, torture, and genocidal massacre. In May 2014, the government security force massacred 70 students just for demonstrating against the Tigray land grab policy. Thousands is wounded and arrested. Towards the end of 2014, 2 Oromo farmers in Salale zone, Oromia state, were brutally murdered and their bodies dragged and put on public display for resisting operation. None of the perpetrators against the Oromos have been brought to justice until now, despite Oromos' demand from all corners of the world, including the United States. To invite another bloodshed, the TPLF has ordered implementation of the Addis Ababa Master Plan, which was passed due to bloody resistance. The arrest and torture of Oromo have continued. Many of those who survived the torture have remained incarcerated. Ethiopian prison is highly populated by Oromo just for resisting abuse. Ethiopia is an open prison for the Oromo nationals. Thousands are fleeing their country due to lack of security, peace, freedom, and guarantee for life. Young Oromos who fled their country due to Tigray-led Ethiopian government brutality have fallen victims of the beheading by ISIS in Libya. Many others have perished in the Mediterranean Sea when smugglers' boats pacified. Oromo refugees are also victims of recent xenophobic killing in South Africa and displacement of refugees by civil war in Yemen. We are protesting to expose this wanton state aggression against the citizen because the regime is an ally of the United States government and supported by the Western donors in general. In particular, the rally is to demand halt to the killing of Oromo students and others who are peacefully protesting against the so-called Integrated Development Master Plan, whose sole purpose is to illegally expand to the capital city. Addis Ababa Finfinne toward this Oromia state in order to systematically evict Oromo farmers from their ancestral land, as well as disposing them of their properties, identity, culture, language, freedom, way of life, and ultimately pushing Oromia into west and east by carving out the spinal cord at Addis Ababa and surrounding districts. No Oromo would expect this evil design which obliterates the integrity of Oromia. It is an exceptional issue for the Oromo nation as a whole. Atrocities against the Oromo people have continued unabated. Any Oromo making demand for justice is beaten, arrested, tortured, convicted without evidence by the TPLF court. During the May 2015 sham election, hundreds of Oromo youth and university students were beaten, arrested, tortured. Many were shot dead for opposing election fraud. Many are still languishing in prison. Many universities were closed due to the election crisis. Ethiopia's election should be a wake-up call for the international community. The blatant disregard for internationally recognized standards for free and fair election just might convince Ethiopia's largest donors that it is time to rethink their relationship with an increasingly authoritarian government. It is so sad that such heinous crimes were happening with the knowledge of donors and ally government. This is a government that your country is giving financial and economic aid to and has intelligence and military cooperation with. As long as democratic governance and respect for human rights are pushed aside by donors in favor of economic development and security cooperation, Ethiopia's long-term stability is at serious risk. We, the Oromo Americans, have been protesting in front of the U.S. State Department and the White House against the Oromo land grab by the Tigrayan minority regime and in support of the fallen compatriots. The entire land grab plan is designed to kill the Oromo generation. There is no legal or social justification to include small cities and provinces under Addis Ababa City Administration for Development and developed cities and towns under the federal government. It is an evil scheme to destroy Oromo and Oromia. We earnestly ask the U.S. government to use your influence with the Ethiopian government to respect the rights of the Oromo people, rule of law, and stop killing and arresting Oromo students. We specifically request that the U.S. government demand an immediate stop to the so-called Integrated Development Master Plan to evict Oromo farmers and the sale of Oromo land, as well as bringing developed Oromia cities and towns under the federal government jurisdiction. Demand to stop flooding Oromia rivers and the lowlands by releasing industrial waste and put in place environment safety protection law and implementation. Ask the Ethiopian government to stop killing and arresting unarmed Oromo school children and other civilians. exert pressure on Ethiopian government, bring to justice those who are involved in the massacre of Oromo students and other citizens. Demand the unconditional and immediate release of Oromo students who are jailed for exercising their constitutional rights and all political prisoners languishing in jail for several years. Insist on the release of all political prisoners and respect the rule of law before providing aid to the regime. Demand that the regime to commit itself to the respect of human rights and allow freedom of expression and assembly and making a peaceful protest. Demand the repeal of all laws that violate the fundamental freedom of citizens. Sincerely, Oromo Community Organization of Washington, D.C., Oromo Youth Self Association in Washington, D.C., International Oromo Women Organization, Committee formed to establish Oromo Community Association in Northern America. Copy to President Barack Obama, the White House. Thank you.
Taking action. It's not just the student who's dying. Mothers dying, fathers dying. People are becoming homeless every day massively in that land. The Oromos, not outcomers. The Oromos are peaceful. The Oromos are democracy. Used to live by democracy in the Horn of Africa before anybody else was followed that system. You all know. We know you all know. We hope and pray you guys will stop just pushing us aside and just hearing us and just leaving it there. We didn't come here to just be another homeland plus. This is our home. We can even right past USA because we are American citizens. We have children who are born here, who go to school here, who will become a president one day. That's our wish. Please, we beg you. Don't just hear us and leave. Do something about it. You have the power. Take that regime. Listen to the majority. We are the majority. We also are native for that land. We appreciate you hearing.
Yun lang.